once again to another broadcast of Monica at Home. I am your lovely chocolate treat and host of the evening, known as Monica Foster, but nowadays I'll be going much more so by my real name, Alexandra Mayers. And I'm probably best known from my official website, monicaf.com, but you also might know me from the website that I set up specifically for this broadcast, monicaathome.com. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight and coming in the chat room. That's really cool that you're here. I'm starting this broadcast a little late, but I'm actually doing it on time. I'm actually doing this broadcast a little bit earlier than I normally do because I want people who are on the East Coast to feel like they don't have to stay up all night just to catch some of the subject matter that I'll be addressing. But the subject matter that I will be talking about tonight I think is really important. I know a lot of people out there probably will not agree with a lot of things that I have to say. Some of you may deem me as a hypocrite or a fanatic or crazy, but I'm not. What's happened with me lately, as I went over on my last broadcast, has been a huge spiritual shift and awakening, thanks to my family, my friends, Shelley Lubben. I'm actually wearing pink today in honor of her, because without her reaching out to me, I really am not sure I would be feeling as good as I am and as strong as I am right now. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful to everyone who's assisted me on my spiritual journey and just my journey in life as a whole. But I'm specifically grateful to her at this moment because she showed me a level of forgiveness and understanding that not many people would have the strength to do. Certainly not something that I have the strength to do right now. But I'm really tired of people bashing her and judging Shelley Lubben without actually meeting her or learning what she's about. So that's something that we're going to be discussing today. I'm somebody who did judge her and who did bash her without learning everything that she's about. And that was wrong. You know, we all make mistakes, but one thing that I've realized, even before the spiritual shift that I've experienced, is that when we're wrong, we need to just go ahead and admit that we're wrong. It's all about truth, honesty, forgiveness, and just being exactly who we are in our core. And I don't think really backtracking or having a change of heart is being hypocritical. I think that living life is really all about learning as we go, gaining from experience the knowledge that we need in order to be the best people that we can be, and as we gain that knowledge, live what we believe. And I'm doing the best to live with what I believe right now, and I hope that many of you out there do too. So let me go ahead and share with y'all what I want to discuss today, because I made a little bit of an outline, but of course I'm not as organized as I should be. We're going to go ahead and start this broadcast with a group prayer session. You don't have to be a Christian to participate. The group prayer is going to be all about funneling and channeling good energy into some issues that might need an injection of some good energy right now. Then we're going to talk about the recruitment and extortion practices of the porn industry, because it is happening and nobody wants to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it today. And I want to give a big shout out to a new acquaintance of mine who I spoke with on the phone last night, who suggested the topic. I'm not going to say who you are because I don't have your permission to do that, but I want to thank you for bringing up that topic as far as something that needs to be discussed. We're also going to discuss the Free Speech Coalition, also known as the FSC, and its relationship with the current porn industry, and whether or not their relationship with the porn industry is going to create the proper balance in the industry that's needed. And then I'll take your questions and comments. So it should be quite the interesting show. Oh, that actually reminds me. Let me address a question that I did receive in great mass from quite a few people, considering the subject matter of my last broadcast, which had to do with the depiction of children in porn. I got a lot of questions from people asking me why I participated in Not the Cosbys XXX #1 and #2, being that the youngest character, Rudy, did have a sex scene. Well, I'll tell you why. Because when I first got the script, and when I first was cast for that role, I did not know that the youngest character was going to have an adult scene. I did participate on the wardrobing for that show, not show, but that adult movie, and actually I got my first behind the scenes credit on those movies as a wardrobing assistant. But the clothes that I picked out for her, they were not those baby doll dresses or those white tights or those little shoes that they had her dressed up in. In fact, the main wardrobing person who works for X-Play, who I worked with, Scott David, he initially was not comfortable with her attire. That Will Ryder insisted that Nina Devon, who played Rudy, wore. Now, I also received some comments and some emails saying that it might not be illegal for adult movies to depict children. But whoever's sending me these emails saying that it's not illegal, you're going to have to actually show me where it says that it's not illegal. Online, you're going to have to show me, because the way that I read that law, it says that it's illegal to depict a child in a sexual situation. And it is a gray area of the law, but the way I read that law, it's illegal to do, and it needs to be stopped, and it shouldn't be happening. And I do feel that anyone who does depict a child in an adult movie is sick, and they are definitely pushing pedophilia to the masses. And a sexualized image of a child, that's something that doesn't need to happen. And anyone who argues and says, oh, it's okay, it's not okay. It's absolutely not okay. So, anyone who thinks it's not illegal, point me in the direction to where I can find that is clearly not illegal to do. But I don't think there is anywhere that you can point me to read that. Because even if the person's over 18, the law states that depicting either a computer-generated image or a live-action image, or even implying a sexual situation of a child, is child pornography. Bottom line. Maybe, some people want it to be legal because maybe they don't want to face their own demons. Maybe they don't want to admit to themselves, hey, I have a sickness. I have a real psychological disorder because I find children sexy. Because that's a sickness, no matter how you want to look at it. So, I just really wanted to address that before we really begin. No, I'm not recruiting any porn actors anymore. Not at all, VIP Lounge. I actually think that before you even say that I'm recruiting anybody, you might want to go to my most recent YouTube. Slowly but surely, I'm going to change my websites and whatnot, but I'm just one person. I can only do so much, and it's taking me some time to revamp where I'm at right now. But I guess that's why we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about tonight, because I do need to make it clear that as of current and most likely for the rest of my life, I'm going to be anti-porn. Because right now the whole balance between pro-porn and anti-porn, it's completely out of whack. And there's too many people who are pro-porn who are aggressively trying to discredit and destroy people who are anti-porn. And it's not fair. And it's not right. Because there always has, I was twittering about this earlier, there has to be a gateway and an exit for anyone who decides that working in the adult industry or porn specifically isn't right for them. And they need to have somewhere to go. They need to have somewhere to land. And as of current, and if anyone knows of any other organizations that do assist people in properly leaving porn and giving them support, let me know. Send me an email. I'm easy to reach, very easy to reach. But right now, in my view, Shelley Lubben's doing the best job. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there who want to destroy her so that girls don't have an option to leave. And that's not right. It's not right because the porn industry is not giving proper training in regards to what porn really is. The porn industry is not giving proper education as to what it is. And the porn industry is dependent upon the uneducated and, the girl who doesn't know what the business is really about in order to survive. And that's not how it should be. I feel like if you have an industry that's a valid industry, there should be no issue in disclosing every single thing about what that industry or what the product is that you're selling is really about. And that's not what's happening here. And anyone who counters me on that particular point is a liar. And it's sick. So, before I get too hyped up, someone in the chat room just says that men prefer younger women, whereas women prefer older men. It's an evolutionary advantage. Not all do. Not all do. But regardless, fine. If you're an old man, you want a young woman, fine. But it needs to be a woman who's psychologically the age that she should be. You shouldn't be trying to youthify her. And that's what's happening with a lot of these guys working in the porn industry who are dating women who really are too young for them. They do it because they're not healthy psychologically and they can't deal with women who are their own age. And most likely a lot of women who are their own age would not want them. And it bothers these men, which is why they do need the constant supply of young women. And as a young woman out there, if you are watching me, you need to realize that. Anyone that you meet in life, anyone that you enter a relationship with in life, I do believe that you and your partner should be traveling through life at a parallel rate. You guys should both be developing at the same rate. And if not, eventually that relationship just will not work out anyways. But it can also emotionally, psychologically, and mentally stunt either one or both partners. And that's not good. That's not what a healthy relationship is. I'm not certain. In fact, I don't know if I've ever been in what I would consider to be a truly healthy relationship, but I'm just now starting to realize what a healthy relationship should be. And unfortunately, the porn industry and a lot of the adult content that's produced and unfortunately distributed for free hinders a lot of people from ever entering a healthy relationship. I had somebody ask me recently over the phone, they were like, well, porn I think is helpful to me, or adult content, watching it is helpful to me because sometimes I just want to get off and, feel sexy or sexual, but I don't have a girlfriend. And you know what my response to that is? You don't have a girlfriend because you're lazy. I know a lot of you out there probably aren't going to want to hear that, but there's so many single women out there, and there's probably more single women now than ever before, And the reason for that is because a lot of men are just too lazy to put the effort and the energy into a woman in order to receive that sexual gratification back. You got to earn it. You know, porn makes it to where men don't have to earn their orgasm. They don't, you know, and that's the problem. It's made it to where, you know, a lot of men don't want to put the effort into finding a real relationship, but yet they complain. I think that porn also puts out such a negative image. You know, it's a glamorous image. It's a pretty image of women, but not most women look like porn stars or, you know, just regular Hollywood stars or actresses, or, you know, most men don't look like Hollywood actors. You know, I won't even say it's just porn, that's promised media. You know, I think a lot of men who criticize women really need to look at themselves, because most of the time when I hear a guy saying, oh, you know, I don't have a girlfriend because I can't meet any girl who's up to my standards or who's hot enough. It's like, well, are you hot enough? Are you worthwhile enough right now to attract the kind of woman that's your impossible ideal of what's right for you? You probably aren't. And if you are that ideal, then yeah, you will attract that ideal in a woman. But if you're not, I'm not saying to settle, but you got to look at more than just what this looks like. You got to look at this. There's a guy who's starting to have a, you know, he's starting to revamp his career. He was just cast in, I'm not going to say who it is, but he was just cast in an upcoming movie that I'm sure is going to be fairly successful. And I had a conversation with him over the phone recently, and he was telling me that, you know, he loves his girlfriend, who is a porn star as well, but he isn't sexually attracted to her as much as he is to other women. And he's one of those guys who I think really does need to look at himself and realize that he's not as desirable as someone's saying that he is. But he also needs to realize that, you know, our time on earth, really in the grand scheme of things, is like that. It's so quick, you know? And, you know, when we depart from this world and we're just spirit and we don't have bodies anymore, I mean, would you rather be with a woman maybe who isn't a perfect 10 but has a great personality, to where when she's in spirit form and she's just her personality, you still got a great personality there? Or do you want someone who has an empty soul yet a beautiful physical body, to where when her time on this planet is over, you know, there really isn't much there in her spirit? What would you rather have? I'd rather have the person with the good spirit, personally. But that's the problem with today. That's the problem. All these things I'm saying, you know, I'm going to go back to Shelley Lubben now. A lot of people are saying, oh, Shelley Lubben's a hypocrite. Shelley Lubben's this, Shelley Lubben's that. Well, you know, we're all hypocrites sometimes. And I said this in the beginning of the broadcast. But the reason that we're all hypocrites, or we're all seen as hypocrites sometimes, is because we're all constantly learning, developing, and none of us are perfect. And sometimes we change our minds. And it's okay to change your mind. I don't really think that makes you a hypocrite. I think that changing your mind actually shows a lot of strength and courage, because sometimes when you come to certain conclusions in life that are the complete opposite of what you've lived and where you've been, you know, it's really hard to share with people, hey, I was wrong. And sometimes even when we're on the right path, we might do things that might be seen as wrong, but that, you know, you got to look at a person's true actions and what they're doing to help other people, opposed to maybe just one or two slip-ups, really. So, all right, let's go ahead and get to our little prayer session this evening. because I think it just needs to be done. And I think that a lot more good, positive, peaceful, loving, and dynamic energy needs to be pushed into the issue of what we're talking about here tonight, which is the detriment that adult entertainment can have on a person. As many of you know, I have been one of the main targets by that stupid website, Pornwikileaks, and one thing about that site that I've noticed has been that they're really using the power of intention in order to not only make women feel hopeless and feel bad, but also to create a glamour and and to trick the masses into thinking that people who have chosen the path of porn, whether they choose to stay on their path or whether they've chosen to do something else in life, that site is trying to make everybody who's ever walked down the porn path look like they're completely a bad and evil person, and that's not the case. So, I don't know if that site's ever going to go away. It's been up for so long that I'm sure multiple people have downloaded so much information from that site that nobody who's ever worked in porn will ever be as safe in their life as they were in the past. But let's do a prayer right now, and we're going to pray for the people who are behind that site to have the demons cast out of them. So I'm going to start with the Lord's Prayer, because really that's one of the few prayers that I know. And if you don't believe in God or Jesus and you have a problem with this, just close the window, okay? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. For thy is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. God, I pray to you tonight, to reach out to the men and the women who are possessed by evil souls and demons, who have come up with that idea of that website, Pornwikileaks, and any other website or action that puts adult stars and anyone attached to the adult entertainment industry, whether it be in the past, present, or future, in harm's way. Please, God, cast out the demons of those individuals who are behind that site and who have gone out of their way to hurt the family, friends, loved ones, acquaintances, and associates of those who took the wrong path of going into the adult entertainment industry. God, please help those people see the light. Please prevent them from doing any more harm. And please open their eyes and wake up their souls to you and to Jesus Christ, our Savior. Please let everybody who's choosing to watch me right now, who's just now learning about this topic, please, God, help them educate themselves in regards to all the women and men who have been affected by the adult content put out by the porn industry, whether they be a performer or someone behind the scenes or somebody who just might stumble across a tube site. Please heal them from the hurt that the demons have caused that are within the people who have facilitated this industry to even exist. Amen. Whew. So now let's take a break. I'm going to take some questions and comments from those in the chat room, and then we'll go into our next topic of the evening, which is going to be the recruitment tactics that people within the porn industry utilize, along with some extortion tactics that I've noticed that need to be addressed. So let's go to the chat now.